I'm here with Stephen Robillard from Siemens Corporation, and we are here at our conference in Washington, D.C. Stephen, what are your thoughts of how the conference went and the kind of feedback you've heard and the kind of discussions that went on around your train model here during the conference?
No, I thought it was great. It was really good. Thanks for hosting it, Andy. I mean, I've been to, there's so many of these conferences going on, and what I'm amazed is the quality of the people that you brought in. I mean, you had the chairman of, Chairman Micah, and you had Corinne Brown and Schuster, and, there were so many really quality people, and also the speakers from the private sector and all that. Really good. Really good, and I think you should be commended for that.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it because it's great to have that kind of a forum, and what's really good is when you've got a lot of important, good people that come, it saves me a lot of traveling time because I can do all these discussions here. So.
Well, good.
What do you think of our train?
I like it. It's beautiful. Yeah, I actually was on one of these trains just recently in Spain.
Were you?
Barcelona and Madrid. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's this one here.
Yeah, it was, and I watched the clock. It was 5 minutes from 0 to 186 or 200 miles an hour every time.
Yeah.
Smooth as glass.
That's what we stand for, quality.
Yeah, it was very nice. Yeah. And so we can't wait to get these to America.
Me too.
What's your thoughts on, this new great announcement we had this week from the Vice President? I mean, they're really stepping this program up. How do you, and I know you guys have been quite active in the country in terms of getting the advertising out there and getting the message out, and so how do you see it now coming together, and what is your prognosis?
Well, I mean, I think before Christmas, if you had asked me that question, I would have probably been a little bit less optimistic than I will be right now. It was a time where when the elections came in, a lot of people were thinking, is it really dead? Is anything going to happen? I think when President Obama came up with his State of the Union address and he really mentioned high-speed rail 3 times in it, it was not expected by anybody that was going to happen. And I think he had a lot of courage and foresight in what he did, and that's regenerated it. And now with Vice President Biden, with his announcement of the $53 billion, I mean, we'll see exactly how far that goes.
Right.
But I think what he's done is he's put it on the agenda, and he's made people aware that there is really a strong support for this movement and to bring high-speed rail into America. And it's not just a whim or a passing fade or something like this. It's really there, and it motivates us in the private industry to say, well, let's work with them. Let's work with associations like yourself to promote this thing and to really make it move forward. So I'm a lot more optimistic than I was before Christmas. So
yeah, we are too as well. And we heard right after the election there were several people that several governors sent the money back, and we got press calls saying, "Is this the end of the program?" And was put it to bed. And I said, "No, that's 2 out of 50 states. There's still 48 states that are in favor." And one governor candidate went down in California saying she was going to kill the project. So obviously, I think the national support is there, wouldn't you say?
It is. And I think we all have to have a lot of patience in this process. This should be bipartisan. Infrastructure projects are what's required in any country in order to move the economy, in order to improve the standard of living of the people. And we see that it is bipartisan. Everybody understands the importance of infrastructure, but we're in a difficult time in the U.S. with budgets and the deficit, and ways have to be found in order to get over that, to overcome it. And the private industry is ready to step up in order to do it, but we need consistency. The worst thing to happen is 1 week it's euphoric, the next week it's dead, and then it's euphoric, and then it's dead, and that drives businesses out. So some of the discussions we've had today or yesterday, we need a success. So we're going to look at the Northeast Corridor. I love the Northeast Corridor. It's a fabulous project, and it has to happen. And I will support it, and I'll do everything I can to assist to bring it forward. But it's not going to happen quickly.
That's not an immediate success.
And you're not going to keep private businesses interested and excited about doing this in the market if all your projects are in 5 years or 10 years from now. You need something now. And when you talk about the Tampa-Orlando line, and I think it was John Mike, I forget who it was that was talking about you know, it's an 83-mile track, and you know, you're only going to have an average speed of 80 miles an hour or something. It's not really true high speed. You know, it's one phase of a true high-speed network. Nobody would say California, let's not talk about Los Angeles, Anaheim, because it's only going to go 80 miles an hour. Right. It's not true high speed. They don't talk about it that way. They talk about a complete California network that is true high speed. Well, let's do that with Florida too. And it's ready to go. And right. That will excite the businesses. You know, if the Governor Scott comes out and says, you know, I support this project and we're going to move it forward, that's going to excite business. That's going to make them want to stay here and work towards the ultimate goal, which is having a real high-speed network with, inside the country. So you've got to do both. You've got to have right. these long-term projects, which are really important for the nation, but you've got to have quick successes too, where it makes sense.
Right. And would you say Tampa to Orlando makes sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense.
As the phase one, and then
but
to
isolated,
Miami is...
isolated, probably not.
Right.
But you need to keep in mind that the future is going to bring it down to Miami, and we all have to work in order to get it that way. But everybody has to see it as just one phase of a complete project, and then it is true high speed.
Right. And actually, Congressman Costa mentioned that yesterday, that the interstate highway system was built in pieces. I think he said it started in Missouri, right. of all places. You know, the least likely, probably the least sense place, but then it became a national system and made all the sense.
That's it. Yeah.
Let me ask you, in terms of, if you guys win some of these projects, you
mean when?
Okay, when. Better. I think you will have to win some of them because it's a big country. We have a lot of miles to build, and not any one company is going to be able to do them all. We're going to need all the companies here. In terms of actually manufacturing the cars in America, you already have a facility now doing light rail and things, but you have plans to expand.
That's right.
It's in Sacramento, is it? And
it's in Sacramento. We purchased 25 acres of land about a year and a half ago, and that land is, I don't think we have it somewhere in the brochures, but the land is dedicated to build the facility for high-speed rail. Now we have to take a look and see, you know, what is the prognosis of how many trains are actually going to be required over the next few years. So, you know, if you're just talking about 5 trains for Tampa, Orlando, I don't think you would build a manufacturing facility for that.
Of course. Yeah.
So what you do is you would look at upgrading existing facilities, bringing in the equipment that's required, you know, welding machines and that type of stuff, and you know, building it here, but not in the grand scale that we have anticipated. You know, but if you start seeing, you know, the Orlando-Miami afterwards, if you see the Northeast Corridor, you see something in Chicago, St. Louis, then it makes sense to really look at doing something larger. And, you know, we're ready to do that. So the investment is ready to go. It just depends on what comes, and we're all really interested to see what really comes.
Right, and we're working as well to make it a permanent program with permanent funding and you know, an ongoing project so then people like you could come and build all these trains here and create lots of American jobs. And
let's be very clear though, whatever trains get sold, whether it's 5 trains or whether it's 100 trains, they are going to be built here. Okay. We have that commitment. They will be built in the United States. This technology will be transferred from our facilities in Germany, because it is German technology, but it will become American, and we're committed, completely committed to that. You know, we've been in Sacramento for 30 years, and you know, we build the light rail vehicles, we design them here in the United States. So our engineering group is there. We have 50 engineers that work. So we're set up in order to do that.
You're already
and this is what will happen.
Almost 2 feet already here.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, we have a benefit. Yeah.
What does it take to build one of these trains? How much time and how many manpower? How many men or workers? And
I mean, you've got probably.
There's a lot of components.
The largest amount of time is the engineering
like an airplane or something.
The engineering phase and the procurement phase. So, you know, you've got certain things like the trucks, for example. I mean, they take 12 to 15 months to get delivered. So it's not really, building it is very quick. I mean, you can be putting a car shell together in a day. The time it takes is all the components that have to come into it, and the engineering that's done in advance. And then you've got the testing and the commissioning and all of that. So building it actually is the quickest part. It's everything else around it, ensuring that the quality is there, ensuring that that it works reliably. You need to do really good testing before.
You test every single one as they come out of the factory.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why we're interested in this line that they're building between Fresno and Bakersfield, because it can have that component of being a test.
The test track.
Test track, and it's right next to our facility.
Oh, that's perfect.
So.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Well, thank you very much, and appreciate you being here, and appreciate working with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.